In the bustling city of New York in the 1920s, there was a dark and sinister presence lurking in the shadows. The residents whispered of the shadow people, mysterious beings that roamed the streets at night, their forms barely visible in the dimly lit alleyways. One cold and foggy evening, a young woman named Evelyn found herself walking home alone after a late shift at the local speakeasy. As she made her way through the deserted streets, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The hairs on the back of her neck stood on end as she quickened her pace, the sound of her footsteps echoing off the empty buildings. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the darkness, its shape shifting and contorting in the flickering light of a nearby street lamp. Evelyn's heart pounded in her chest as she realized she was face to face with one of the shadow people. Its eyes glowed a malevolent red as it reached out a hand towards her, its touch icy cold and clammy. Terrified, Evelyn turned and ran, the sound of her own screams echoing through the empty streets. The shadow person pursued her, its form twisting and elongating as it moved with unnatural speed. She could feel its presence closing in on her, a sense of dread overwhelming her senses. Just when she thought she couldn't run any further, Evelyn stumbled upon a small church, its door standing open invitingly. With a burst of adrenaline, she raced inside and slammed the heavy wooden door shut behind her, the sound reverberating through the empty sanctuary. Breathless and trembling, Evelyn sank to her knees, her heart still racing with fear. She glanced around the dimly lit church, her eyes wide with terror. And that's when she saw them, the shadow people, their forms lurking in the corners of the room, their eyes glowing with malevolence. As the shadows closed in around her, Evelyn knew she was trapped, a helpless victim of the sinister beings that haunted the city of New York. The last thing she heard before the darkness consumed her was the sound of their whispered voices, promising unspeakable horrors in the night. And so, the legend of the shadow people lived on, a chilling tale of terror that would haunt the residents of New York for years to come. For in the shadows of the city, evil lurked, waiting to claim its next victim.